Hi, I'm Julia Ain-Krupa, and this is the Impatient Moviegoer. Today I want to talk to you about the 2015 film My King by Maïwenn. As you can see, there's already something very charged about just the name of the film. The very concept that in a modern world, a strong and independent woman might refer to her man as, quote, her king. The title is a portent of the complexities to come of the tone of the film and the intensity with which the story will play out. The very idea of power and subjugation is a loaded one, a dynamic that will often result in some form of uprising. The director and co-writer of this film, Maïwenn, who comes from a French, Breton, Algerian, Vietnamese background, is a unique kind of filmmaker. I cannot watch her work without thinking about her life story, for I feel that she's a true auteur in the way that she brings her life experience to the screen. So I want to give a little bit of background information about her life, not because I wish to gossip, but because I feel that her life story is interesting and really informs how she works and the content of her work. She was urged by her mother from a very young age to work in the film industry, and she met renowned filmmaker Luc Besson at the age of 12, and at 15 she was dating him, 1 year later giving birth to their child. She worked as an actress, playing a kind of alien diva in Besson's film The Fifth Element. It is also said that Natalie Portman's role in The Professional was modeled after Maïwenn and after her romance with Besson. It would not be until years later, after she had already lived a second marriage and made several feature films, that Maïwenn would make My King, a close look at a certain kind of blazing and destructive love. I cannot help but imagine the intensity of this film as being filtered through what she has already seen. My King gives us a portrait of love through a series of flashbacks, a romance lived out in hindsight. In the beginning of the film, we meet Tony, an accomplished lawyer who was at a low point in her life after she has seriously injured her knee in a skiing accident. As she recuperates in a seaside sanatorium for physical therapy and healing, she recalls the events that have brought her to this painful point in her life. At the start of the film, a resident therapist points out that the knee is a joint that allows only backward flexion, suggesting that Tony's body is also trying to teach her something about her life, helping to instruct her in her healing. As Tony lies in a special therapeutic device, listening to the sound of the waves against the shore outside her window, she hypnotically flexes her leg backwards, looking off to the side, remembering. From that moment on, we are dropped right into the story. Tony first meets restaurateur and modelizer Giorgio Milevsky on a multicolored, flashing, LED-illuminated dance floor to the tune of the Son Lux song, Easy, which is a very alive and infectious song. We're instantaneously enraptured by their connection, as they are of each other on a high that is their chemistry. These flashing floor lights in concert with the music gives one the feeling of excitement, as in real life with attraction and love. But the lights are also a warning, as if to say, danger, your finger is on the pulse of a ticking bomb. Be careful or else you might get burned. But whoever fell in love with a full understanding of what was in store. When Tony asks Giorgio if he's a jerk like other men she has been with, he answers by cheekily saying, "I'm not a jerk, I'm the king of the jerks." Not in a New York, but a French accent. He is so disarming in his daring arrogance that she cannot help but fall in love with him as she lays naked in his arms, hysterically laughing, captivated by his undeniable, albeit wicked, charms. Soon after their love affair is in full swing, Giorgio attends a presentation that Tony makes in court, in which she states that, quote, "You must have nothing to lose to love heart and soul," unquote. The audio of Tony's defense plays over a montage of images of the couple laughing and gambling at a racetrack, an ecstatic moment in which they're celebrating winning, a juxtaposition that underscores the uncertainty of love and even more the fragility. In her closing defense, Tony concludes, "Love before the storm is not a decision, it's a decree." The couple is quick to pronounce their mad passion without reservation. There's something very brave and inspiring about Maïwenn's style of filmmaking, also demonstrated in her film Police, which I will make an episode for as well. From the electric performances of Emmanuelle Bercot, a screenwriter and director in her own right, and Vincent Cassel, along with lovely supporting performances by Louis Garrel and Maïwenn's very beautiful sister, Isilde Lebesco, to the seamless editing that ties together a roller coaster of emotions in one long, compelling breath. Maïwenn's work, and My King in particular, really, truly took my breath away. My King is high drama, and it plays out at fever pitch. Due to the intense emotions and the length of time that it encapsulates, it has an epic feeling at times, even bringing to mind The Godfather. Don't ask me why. Perhaps it is in part due to these operatic emotions, but also because of Giorgio's partying and freewheeling lifestyle, which at first glance may seem appealing and infectious, but which will soon make him completely insufferable. As the film progresses, Giorgio devolves into a spiral of increasingly selfish and careless behavior, all of which backfire onto Tony as he turns her into a woman on the verge. Giorgio looks after his ex-girlfriend, Agnes, whose habit of overdosing is practically routine. He does what he wishes, going so far as to take a separate flat down the street in search of greater freedom. He gaslights a pregnant Tony, pushing her to the point of questioning her own sanity. It isn't long before she too, like Agnes, is taking pills. The birth of their child does bring them back together, but their closeness doesn't last for long. Giorgio is incapable of playing the role of homemaker, a father, and of simply a reliable partner. When Tony finds a young naked woman lying beside him in bed in his separate flat, she leaves the baby with him, asking him to play the role of father that he so wished to be. He assures her that his transgression had to do with drugs and not sex, and that he will get therapy so they can be together. But his convictions are short-lived. They've built their home on a broken foundation. When Tony finally announces to Giorgio that she wants a divorce, through tears she says, "I prefer not to be in love and not get hurt." He tries to convince her that the tumultuous fluctuations of their relationship help them to know that they are alive. But when he realizes that he cannot fully charm her anymore, that something in her has shifted away, his temper rises and he sidesweeps a street full of parked cars, threatening to take their son away, reminding her of her fragile mental state. Even as Tony moves away from Giorgio and they follow through with their divorce, their attraction remains strong, and they are still drawn to each other, even lovers at times. He is destructive and cruel, but also imaginative and charming, larger than life. He is like a drug. The epic drama leads to a place where Tony has at last reclaimed herself. She is a strong and independent woman. She sees him from a distance at last, as if through a veil, the man she loves, her king forever. But she has come to a place in her life where she can no longer be a subject. And that's it for today's episode of The Impatient Moviegoer. I hope you'll see this strong film by Maïwenn. And with that, keep watching movies, keep searching for the beauty in life. And until next time, I'm Julia Ain-Krupa. This is The Impatient Moviegoer. Thank you so much for watching. It makes me very hopeful about the future of cinema and love of cinema. And until next time, take care. Bye.